2020 Spring Clemson University Turfgrass Field Day here at the beautiful Walker Golf Course located at Clemson University in Clemson, South Carolina. I'm Bert McCarty, professor at Clemson University in Turfgrass Science, and as the host of this field day. First of all, I'd like to thank all the individuals who are involved with this, including my PhD students, Josh Weaver, Jacob Taylor, Luke Dant, and Adam Gore, a master student, T. Studemeyer, and of course my research technician, Nate Gambrell. Also really like to put a special thanks to Don Garrett, who's the superintendent here at the Walker Golf Course, for allowing us to use this facility almost at will for any of the studies we might wish to have implemented. Another special welcome or thank you is to the Tim Krieger, who's Executive Director for Carolina's Golf Course Superintendents. Also to Alan Knight, who's helping produce this particular video. And of course to all the members of the Golf Course Superintendents of the Carolinas because of their financial support through rounds of research. Many of the projects you can see in this film have or are being supported partially by some of this research money. At the end of our video, we will be offering pesticide credits for several states in the Southeast, as well as PTI credits through the Golf Course Superintendents Associations of America. So without further ado, let's get started and go to our first trial. Thank you.
I'm Adam Gore, a PhD student here at Clemson University, working on looking into potential copper effect in spring transitioning. What we're seeing in some golf courses is that after greens have transitioned from dormancy, is that there's general thinning with overall presence of algae. So what the study is looking at is to see whether the combinations of copper from whether they're algicides applied to irrigation ponds, pigments from adding the green color to greens, or some fungicides all containing copper, to see if these combinations are increasing the soil content of copper to a point that it makes it inadequate for proper turfgrass growth. So this study, which is partially sponsored by Rounds of Research, is using a couple different combinations of copper products, and this is the very early stages. We're only about 3 weeks into the study, but seeing how the different combinations can affect the general thinning or promotion of turf growth. So what we can see here are some of the different colorants combinations, some of the blue-green to darker green to untreated colors. So we're looking at how these overall impacts, or all these overall combinations can impact the transitioning to fully greened up Bermuda grass greens.
Good morning. My name is Nate Gambrell, research technician for Dr. McCarty and the turf team here at Clemson University. Our first stop is a spring dead spot trial here on number 6 at the Walker course. We'd like to also recognize Dr. Joe Roberts down at the Florence Research Station for his cooperation in this study as well. We have a 10 treatment study. We would like to run through the treatments. These treatments were put out on October the 3rd and followed up with a second application on October the 31st, which corresponds to 28 days after the initial. After each application, treatments were watered in with a 1/4 inch of water that evening, which corresponded to 12 hours after application. As you can see, here's our treatment list. You'll note 10 treatments with 1 untreated. To begin, here is plot 101. 101 is untreated. As you can see, each plot is marked with the 4 corners with orange paint, and all treatments were sprayed within those 4 corners. So again, untreated, plot 101. Our second treatment is Lexicon, and Lexicon was applied at 0.47 fluid ounces per 1,000 square feet, applied twice, October 3rd and October 31st. Our third treatment is intrinsic. It was applied at 0.85 fluid ounces per 1,000 feet. Again, applied October 3rd and October 31st. Our fourth treatment was Maxtima. It was applied at 0.8 fluid ounces per 1,000 square feet, and again applied October 3rd and October 31st. Our fifth treatment was Torque. Torque was applied at 1.1 fluid ounces per 1,000 square feet, and it was only applied once on October 3rd. Our sixth treatment was a combination of Torque at 1.1 fluid ounces plus Pinpoint at 0.31 fluid ounces per 1,000 square feet, and treatment 6 was only applied once on October the 3rd. Our seventh treatment is Mirage Stress Guard. Stress Guard was applied at 2 fluid ounces per 1,000 square feet, and it was applied on October the 3rd and October the 31st. Our eighth treatment is Valista. Valista was applied at 0.7 ounces per 1,000 square feet, and it was applied on October the 3rd and October the 31st. Our ninth treatment is Posterity. It was applied at 0.32 ounces per 1,000 square feet, and again applied October the 3rd and October the 31st. Our final treatment, treatment 10, Kabuto, it was applied at 1.6 fluid ounces, applied twice on October the 3rd and October the 31st. To summarize our spring death spot study, we had multiple treatments or multiple products providing excellent control. Superintendents may also want to consider product cost or other disease pressure they have on their golf course when making decisions for fungicide applications this fall. Another take-home message is application timing. With the last 2 summers here in South Carolina being hot through the 1st or 2nd week of October, it's important to wait and apply your fungicides for spring death spot control until soil temperatures reach about 75 degrees at a 2-inch depth at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning.
As a side note to one of our spring dead spot studies, we were also peppered with some large patch or Rhizoctonia solani on the Tiffway Bermuda grass. Typically a disease that you see in low wet air. As a note with the large patch as well as spring dead spot, most scientists believe that the actual infection occurs in the fall of the previous year. However, the symptoms really don't express themselves until the spring of the next year, and that's what we're seeing here. So we probably had an infection occur in the fall of 2019, and you see the symptoms in the spring of 2020.
This is Josh Weaver. I'm going to present my research here at Clemson Field Day. The title of it is Effects of Biostimulants in Cultural Practices on Turfgrass. I'm a PhD candidate in Dr. Burt McCarty's lab. Alright, so this is the study location. This is the nursery green at the Walker Golf Course. So materials and methods, we basically did two 16-week studies, May 15, 2018 to September 15th of 2018, and then replicated that in May 15 of 2019 through September of 2019. This is a diamond zoysia grass nursery green. This green was established in June of 13 via sod and a former creeping bentgrass green. It's constructed with the USGA soil mix and basically used the same location both years of the study. The experiment was arranged with 2 by 3 meter plots as randomized complete block designs with 4 replicates. The treatments were applied using a pressurized CO2 backpack boom sprayer. And maintenance overhead irrigation was applied as needed. However, all treatments were watered in immediately after application. The plots were mowed daily by the maintenance staff, 2.54 to 3.175 millimeters. Solitine aerification and vertical mower grooming was performed uniformly throughout the study. And core aeration using 1.27 centimeter tines with 2.54 by 2.54 centimeter spacing was conducted in June of 2018 and June of 2019. Fertilization was applied via foliar application, and fall fungicide applications were applied uniformly across plots. So here's some of the plugs at the end of the study. The untreated is on the left. The average root weight of the untreated was 0.16 grams, and the average root length was 5.18 centimeters. And compared on the right, the EarthMax rate. This was a 1 gallon acre 2-time monthly rate. The average root weight was 0.32 grams, and the average rooting length was 7.23 centimeters. All right, again on this picture right here, untreated still on the left. Comparing against EarthMax, the additional rate was 2 gallons acre 1 time a month, and that root weight was 0.39 grams, and average root length was 6.6 centimeters. On this slide right here, worm power, 16 ounces per thousand. This was a 1 time month app, and the average root weight was 0.37 grams, and average root length was 6.0 centimeters. This is our blackstrap molasses treatment. The rate was 5.25 ounces per thousand. This was a weekly application, and the root weight average was 1.11 grams, and average rooting length was 5.55 centimeters. This treatment right here was sand top dressing. It was put out at a depth of 0.6 millimeters 2 times a month, and the average root weight was 0.082 grams, and average root length was 5.67 centimeters. So conclusions, rooting length, EarthMax 1, EarthMax 2, and worm power and sand top dressing provided an average of 18% greater rooting length than the untreated control. For root mass, in year 1, the blackstrap molasses treatment provided an average of 143% greater rooting mass than the untreated control. And in year 2, blackstrap molasses, EarthMax 2, worm power, as well as EarthMax 1 treatment provided an average of 95% greater rooting mass than the untreated control. Thatch weight over the 2-year study, blackstrap molasses had 8% and 8.8% less thatch weight than the untreated control. And thatch thickness over the 2-year study, both EarthMax treatments, blackstrap molasses and worm power reduced thatch thickness by an average of 29% for EarthMax, 30% for blackstrap, and 17% for worm power when compared to the untreated control. As far as turf quality, NDVI, and surface firmness, those ratings were consistent throughout both years of the study among all treatments. Some future research, I'd like to determine if biostimulants alone are encouraging root growth, or is a fertilizer or organic acid component providing this. I also like to do further research on blackstrap molasses, specifically how does it perform long-term on root mass and thatch reduction, as well as conduct more research of biostimulants on different turf grasses and rates. This is Josh Weaver, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Burt McCarty. We're going to be talking about our next study, evaluating biostimulants on Eagle Bermuda grass. This study is actually part of Timothy or T. Studelmeyer's master's thesis. You can see a T in the lower left hand. T, as we are filming this, is spending his second day on his honeymoon. So obviously he is busy with other items. So again, evaluating biostimulants of Tiffigo Bermuda grass. Again, the objective is to examine the potential plant health benefits of some of the commercial biostimulants that are on the market today. And we're really looking at Earth Max, Hydrohumid 20, and then Worm Power. This was a greenhouse study, again on Tiffigo Bermuda grass. Put them in flats. We had 6-inch pots also, and also lysimeters, which are deep cylinders that rooting is not restricted by. And so what we did is planted the pots, put down the biostimulants, and then started doing some measurements. The particular treatments we had were the 3 biostimulants I mentioned. Again, Worm Power, Earth Max, and Hydrohumid at the label rates at the time that this study was initiated. We also had it with and without fertilizer. And the fertilizer was 0.2 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. So the actual treatments of the biostimulants were put out every other week. If it had a fertilizer treatment, then that was put out on the subsequent week. So for example, if we had Worm Power with fertilizer, we put out the Worm Power on day 1. On day 7, we put out the fertilizer. And then on day 14, we switched back to Worm Power. And then day 21, back to fertilizer, etc. So this was a 12-week greenhouse study. We initiated it on the summer solstice of last year, which was June 21st. Again, we talked about how the biostimulants were alternated every 7 days if it had a fertilizer treatments. Things we looked at in this particular studies were grow-in, rooting, and then recovery. In recovery, we took plugs out of the center of the treated plugs and then measure the regrowth. I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm just going to talk about grow-in and rooting. Here's just an example of some of the pictures I'm going to show. This is a grow-in study, again, where we put a cutter plugs into flats. We use sand soil, on this particular study. We also got an adjacent study using a native soils. So on the left, we had the untreated, where we just put the plugs in, no fertilizer, or in the biostimulants. On the right, in this particular trial or slide, we had Worm Power 8 ounces per 1,000 square feet. Again, no fertilizer was added to this particular treatment, so the Worm Power was put out every 2 weeks, again, the 8 ounce rate. And what you see is the turf regrowth after 12 weeks from the initial treatment of the study. So, in untreated, as you could imagine, sandy soil with no fertilizer, not much growth. On the right, again, is the Worm Power, a little bit better growth or recovery from the Bermuda grass after using the product. Now here is the Worm Power followed by the fertilizer. So again, Worm Power is put out on day 1, day 7 fertilizer, and then we alternated thereafter. On the left is pots or flats with only the fertilizer, again 0.2 pounds nitrogen every 2 weeks. On the right is the Worm Power plus fertilizer, and you can see the significant increase in growth by adding the Worm Power to the fertilizer on the grow-in of this particular Tifway. Now we're switching to Earth Max. Again, Earth Max at 4 ounces per 1,000. On the left, again, is the untreated, so nothing was put in with these plugs. On the right is the Earth Max. You do see a little greening effect and slightly better growth than the untreated on the left. Again, this would be the Earth Max followed by the fertilizer. So on the left is fertilizer only, again 0.2 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. On the right will be the Earth Max followed by the fertilizer. So again, you see better color and a little bit more aggressive lateral growth than the fertilizer only treatment on the left. Now here we're looking at Hydrohumid, again 2.2 ounces per 1,000 square feet. Again on the left, untreated, so nothing has been applied to these plugs. On the right, it's just a Hydrohumid by itself. Again, just like with the other products, you see a slight greening effect and possibly a little bit more aggressive lateral regrowth. Now here's the hydrohumic on the right, followed by the fertilizer. So on the left is fertilizer only, on the right is the hydrohumic with the fertilizer. Again, like most of the other products, you see deeper, darker green color and more aggressive growth when you combine the biostimulant with the fertilizer. Sorry about that. All right, here we're looking at the rooting of the plugs after 12 weeks. So we put out the treatments. After 12 weeks, we washed off the soil and then did root lengths, root mass, root weights, etc. Now let me walk you through this slide. This is the worm power at 8 ounces. On the far left is untreated, so there was nothing put on this particular plug after it was planted. Second from the left is the worm power by itself. Again, 8 ounces applied every other week, and you can see the deeper rooting. At the very bottom, you see it had almost 22.5 centimeters depth of rooting. Third from the left is the fertilizer only, so you can see the response of the plugs with fertilizer compared to the untreated, again to the far left, and then the far right would be worm power plus fertilizer. Obviously, comparable roots to the fertilizer are even slightly better. So obviously the combination gave us good rooting as well as regrowth. Same type format. So here we're looking at Earth Max, again at 4 ounces, untreated on the far left, Earth Max second from the left. You can see that the centimeters of root growth, almost 15 centimeters. Fertilizer again, third from the left, is almost 20 centimeters depth. And then the Earth Max plus fertilizer. Maybe not quite as deep as the fertilizer by itself, but you still see a increased number of white roots and masses of roots compared to the Earth Max or the untreated by themselves. And lastly, we have the hydrohumic, again at 2.25 ounces, again at 12 weeks after treatment, untreated to the left. The hydrohumic second from the left, again better rooting in terms of depth and white roots. Fertilizer third from the left, and then the combination of the hydrohumic plus fertilizer on the far right. Again, a little bit deeper rooting than the fertilizer by themselves, as you can tell from the 24.3 centimeter depth. So in conclusion, again, we're still running this study. In 2020, we'll do a repeat application or repeat run of the study. So we still got to do some data analysis. So what you saw were just kind of visual results. But overall, I'd say the treatments did appear to act somewhat synergistic with the fertilizer. Treatments by themselves did okay. Fertilizer by itself did okay, but it tended to have a synergistic effect to where you had better rooting and better turf color and cover by combining the biostimulant with particular fertilizer. So again, this is just one study that's part of T's master's thesis. Again, his thesis is being partially funded by the rounds of research, so we want to certainly recognize everyone who has participated in rounds of research because here's the results of some of the studies that we're funding with that particular program. Thanks again.
Good morning, Nate Gambrell here again. We're going to look at a POA study now. This is a study looking at non-selective options with treatments going out in the late winter. For this study, we're going to look at the third rep due to zoysia grass contamination in a couple of the plots in the first and second rep. And so again, looking at the third rep here, and we're going to start backwards and move forwards. So the first plot here is 309, and 309 is untreated. Our next plot is Roundup. Roundup went out at 16 ounces, and the application date was February the 5th. Our next treatment is Roundup again at 32 ounces. Again, this treatment went out on February the 5th. Our next treatment is Finale at 4 quarts to the acre with an application date again, February the 5th. Our next treatment is a combination of Roundup at 16 ounces plus 1 quart of Simazine. Again, it went out on February the 5th. Our next app is Finale at a 5 quart per acre rate. Again, applied February the 5th. Here we have Simazine applied by itself at 2 quarts per acre, or 64 ounces per acre, on February the 5th. Here we have Spectacle, which was applied at a 6 ounce rate on February the 5th. And our final treatment is Reward. Reward was applied at 2 quarts per acre, again February the 5th. Alright, our next POA study, we're going to look at combinations of Curb, Exonerate, Revolver as a potential option for those with SU resistant POA. Our first treatment is untreated. This is plot 101. Our second treatment is Curb, applied at ½ pound active ingredient, and its application date was February the 5th. Our next treatment was Curb at a split rate, which was 0.25 pounds active ingredient, followed by another 0.25 pound active ingredient, and those application dates corresponded to February the 5th and February the 25th. So again, the same amount of product in plot 3 as plot 2, however plot 3 was a split rate. Our next treatment is a combination of Curb at 0.2 pounds AI, Revolver 6 ounces per acre, and Exonerate 4 ounces per acre, and this was applied twice, once on February the 5th and once on February the 25th. Treatment 5, same combination of Curb 0.2 pounds AI plus Revolver at 6 ounces plus Exonerate at 4 ounces. However, this treatment was applied 3 times, once on February the 5th, once on February the 25th, and then again on March the 15th. Treatment 6 is Exonerate at 14 ounces, and this treatment was applied twice, once on February the 5th and once on February the 25th. Our next treatment is Revolver by itself at 17 ounces, and it was applied on February the 25th. Treatment 8 is Exonerate at 14 ounces plus Revolver at 17 ounces, and it was applied once on February the 25th. Treatment 9, we apply Katana at 3 ounces per acre. It was applied roughly 2 weeks ago on March the 25th. However, date of this filming, this herbicide has not kicked in yet, but we suspect it will start showing some activity in the coming week. Same with treatment 10. Treatment 10 was Monument at a ½ ounce rate. Again, it was applied roughly 2 weeks ago on March the 25th, and we suspect to start seeing activity in the coming week. And then finally, our last treatment 11, is Finale at 5 quarts per acre, and Finale went out on February the 5th. So to conclude this study, or to wrap up this study, as you can see, there are several options for golf course superintendents for those who suspect they may have SU POA resistance, or found themselves at the end of winter and still needed to make a POA application. One thing I will note, when these treatments were made, Bermuda grass dormancy or Bermuda grass green up, I would rate was between 5 and 10% green up. So again, almost fully dormant, but as you can see, there are several options out there for late winter non-selective POA control. So to conclude this study, for golf course superintendents who suspect they have SU resistance or want to add another option in their spray arsenal to avoid SU resistance in the future, as you can see, combinations of Curb plus Exonerate plus Revolver is a viable option for POA control, especially in the late winter.
Good morning, I'm Jacob Taylor. I'm a PhD student here at Clemson under Dr. McCarty, and today I'm going to present a study that we did examining different natural household products as an alternative to pesticides for POA control. We treated all plots at 60 gallons per acre, and all these plots were treated 2 weeks ago. This is plot 101, and this is our untreated check. This is plot 102. Here, baking soda was applied at 240 pounds per acre with Dawn at 0.5% volume per volume on March 30th. All treatments following this treatment were all applied on the same date. This is plot 103. Here, a mixture of white vinegar, lemon juice, and Dawn were applied at 25 gallons per acre. Here is plot 104. On this plot, suppressed herbicide was applied at 480 ounces per acre. Here is plot 105. Superphosphate was applied at 108.9 pounds per acre with Dawn at 0.5% volume per volume. This is plot 106. A clove oil and water mixture was applied at 384 ounces per acre with Dawn at 0.5% volume per volume. This is plot 107. Weed Zap herbicide was applied at 384 ounces per acre. Here is plot 108. Avenger weed killer was applied at 1,140 ounces per acre. This is plot 109. Fiesta was applied at 300 ounces per acre. Here on plot 110, Ecological weed killer was applied at 384 ounces per acre. Here is plot 111. Moonshine was applied at 420 ounces per acre with Dawn at 0.5% volume per volume. And here is plot 112. Full-time Algicide and Dawn were both applied at 0.5% volume per volume. In conclusion, some of our products, we did see some burn down on the turf and POA. This burn down, however, may not be completely dead POA, because in our greenhouse studies conducted the similar natural products, we found that there was recovery after 4 weeks, and these products were applied only 8 days ago. We're going to continue to rate this study through the 4 week after treatment intervals, and this data will be provided at a later point.
All right, Nate Gambrell here again. Our next study is another POA study. We're going to be looking at different application timings with non-selective herbicide Finale for POA control. We are on the Tiff Eagle green. However, our objective was not to look at a Tiff Eagle Bermuda grass injury. However, the main objective was to look at POA control. All right, our first treatment is untreated here in plot 101. Our second treatment is Finale, applied at 5 quarts per acre, and this application went out on December the 5th. Our second treatment again is Finale at 5 quarts, and this application went out roughly 4 weeks later on January the 15th. Treatment 4 is Finale, again at 5 quarts per acre. This treatment went out roughly 4 weeks later, again on February the 15th. So one treatment applied February the 15th. Treatment 5, Finale again at 5 quarts per acre, applied on March the 15th. Treatment 6 is Reward. Reward was applied at 2 quarts per acre, and it was applied on March the 15th. Our next treatment, treatment 7, is Katana. Katana was sprayed at 2 ounces per acre on March the 25th. Katana is an SU that is highly temperature dependent, and on the date that this study was filmed, we haven't seen very much activity due to cooler weather. However, warmer temperatures are here this week, and we suspect activity very soon in the coming days. Treatment 8 is Katana again at the 3 ounce rate, and similar to the previous plot, we expect activity in the coming days due to warmer temps. Treatment 9 is Revolver at 10 ounces per acre, and similar to the Katana plots, we expect to see weed activity in the coming days due to the warmer temperature. This treatment was applied again on March the 25th. And then our final treatment was Revolver at 17 ounces, again on March the 25th, roughly 2 weeks ago. And again, with these SU type herbicides, they are slow to provide control due to cooler weathers, and we suspect this treatment to also start showing activity in the coming days. So to conclude this study, a couple of points I would like to point out. For Finale, as you can see, it's a viable option for non-selective POA control for those golf courses who miss their early fall application timing with another product, or if they have SU resistance, or if they're in a situation where their course may or may not allow them or want them to spray Roundup. Spraying Finale throughout the winter, as you can see, whether that's December all the way through February, shows good control to excellent control. However, the later you wait into the winter to apply your Finale, you would expect delayed green up. The other point is with the SU herbicides such as Katana or Monument, if they are applied late winter, you need to expect a delay or several weeks before you start seeing POA controlled, again due to the sensitivity they are to the weather, to temperature, and to expect those herbicides not to start kicking in until you have several sunny and warmer days aligned during the week. I'm going to show another POA study. This again is a POA study with non-selective control options. We are on the Tiff Eagle green again. However, Tiff Eagle turf tolerance was not our main objective or concern, but rather a uniform dense stand of POA to evaluate POA control with these products. Our first plot here is untreated. It's plot 101. Our second treatment is Roundup at 16 ounces per acre. This was applied February the 5th. Our third plot again is Roundup at 32 ounces per acre. So twice the amount of product as the previous plot. Our fourth plot is Spectacle. It was applied at 6 ounces per acre. Again, February the 5th.
I have not reached that point.
Treatment 5, we have Finale at 4 quarts per acre. Applied on February the 5th. Treatment 6, we have Finale at 5 quarts per acre. Again, applied February the 5th. Treatment 7 is Reward. It was applied at 2 quarts per acre on February the 5th. Treatment 8 was a combination of Roundup at 16 ounces per acre plus Simazine at 1 quart per acre. Again, applied on February the 5th. And our final treatment was Simazine, applied at 2 quarts per acre on February the 5th. So to conclude this study, as you can see, there are several treatments or combinations that are viable options for golf courses or sports turf managers that need to make a late winter application for POA control. All right, Nate Gambrell here again, and the next study we're going to look at is a replacement study for glyphosate. We are here at the Cherry Farm in Clemson. We're in a field of common Bermuda grass that we typically maintain around 3 inches, and the objective of the study again was to find a replacement for glyphosate for those golf courses who are in a renovation stage or looking to eradicate Bermuda grass and have chosen to not use glyphosate. All right, so to begin with, our first treatment is our untreated. These plots are 2 by 2 meters in size. And these treatments were put out last July the 30th of 2019. And some of these treatments had a follow-up application 3 weeks after. But the study was initiated July the 30th, 2019. And again, the first plot here is untreated. Our second treatment is a combination of Fusilade at 24 ounces plus Turflawn ester. The next treatment is the same combination of Fusilade plus Turflawn ester applied twice, with the second application 3 weeks after the first. Again, this study went out July the 30th. Therefore, the second study went out the 3rd week in August. Our fourth treatment was a combination of Finale at 5 quarts plus Roundup at 1 gallon plus Turflawn ester at 2 quarts per acre. Treatment 5 again was our Finale plus Roundup plus Turflawn ester applied twice. Second application 3 weeks after the first. Treatment 6 is a combination of Finale at 5 quarts plus Fusilade at 24 ounces plus Turflon ester at 64 ounces, applied once. Treatment 7 is a combination of Finale plus Fusilade plus Turflon ester, applied twice. Again, those rates are 5 quarts Finale, 24 ounce Fusilade, and 64 ounce Turflon ester. Second application 3 weeks after the first. Treatment 8 is a combination of Roundup at 1 gallon per acre, Fusilade at 24 ounces per acre, and Turflon ester at 64 ounces per acre, applied once. Treatment 9 again was our Roundup plus Fusilade plus Turflon ester at 1 gallon Roundup, 24 ounce Fusilade, and 64 ounce Turflon ester, applied twice, with the second application 3 weeks after the first during the 3rd week in August. Treatment 10 is a combination of Pilex at 2 ounces per acre plus Turflon ester at 64 ounces per acre, applied once. Treatment 11, again, combination of Pilex plus Turflon ester. Pilex at 2 ounces per acre plus Turflon ester at 64 ounces per acre. And this treatment was applied twice. Again, the second application was 3 weeks after the first. Treatment 12 was a combination of Plateau at 12 ounces per acre plus Fusilade, 24 ounces per acre, plus Turflon ester at 64 ounces per acre, applied once. Treatment 13 again was our combination of Plateau plus Fusilade plus Turflon ester at 12 ounces Plateau, 24 ounce Fusilade, and 64 ounce Turflon ester, and this treatment was applied twice. Again, the second application was 3 weeks after the first application. Our final combination of treatments include Ronstar Flow. It was applied at 3 pounds AI per acre in combination with atrazine, which was applied at 64 ounces per acre. And this treatment, treatment 14, went out 1 time. Again, Ronstar Flow at 3 pounds AI per acre in combination with atrazine at 64 ounces per acre. This treatment, treatment 15, went out twice, with the second application 3 weeks after the first, which corresponds to the 3rd week in August. All right, again, this was a preliminary study looking for replacements for glyphosate. As you can see, unfortunately, there is a lot of green Bermuda grass in our plots. However, one reason why we chose this site was for common Bermuda grass, and we assumed that of the Bermuda grasses, common Bermuda grass would be the toughest to control. The theory was if we can find a treatment or a combination of products to work on common Bermuda grass, there would be a good chance that the same treatment would work on the other Bermuda grasses. For future research, we will redo this study and continue to evaluate these treatments. This summer, we will be making additional applications And instead of treatments only going out once or twice, treatments will go out either 2 times or 3 times.
Thanks everyone again for attending the 2020 Clemson University Spring Field Day. Hopefully you have gotten something out of this. Again, I'd like to thank my crew for their support, as well as Don Garrett, superintendent here at Walker Golf Course, as well as our sponsors and program advisors, and that's Tim Krieger with the Carolina Golf Course Superintendents, as well as Alan Knight, who's the IT specialist. In order to get your pesticide credits for the states of South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia, I'm going to turn this over to Josh Weaver. He's not only a grad student of mine, but he's also a state pesticide coordinator with South Carolina. Also, Josh is going to tell you how to get your PTI credits through the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America. Again, thank you so much for attending our virtual field day 2020.
All right, everyone. I'm Josh Weaver. I'm going to go over with you about your CEU information. So we have CEU credit hours approved for the states of Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. So what you're going to do to get the credits is you're going to email the following information to us by May the 10th. So I'm going to need your name as it's printed on your license number, as well as your phone number. And you're going to email this to me by May the 10th. So something I want to point out, you guys that are Georgia license holders, you're going to email me the information that you have a Georgia license, pesticide license, and I'm going to send you the form to fill out, the form that Georgia sent us for this course. So you'll fill out the form. I'll have the class or course number on the form and everything, and then you'll fill out your pertinent information, and there'll be information on the sheet of where to fax or email the form to for Georgia. But your your South Carolina and North Carolina guys, you'll send me your information and I'll fill out the form for you. So my email address is rweave3, that's RWEAVE, the number 3, at clemson.edu. My name's Josh Weaver, and you're going to email this in by May the 10th of 2020. All right, for you superintendents out there to get PTI credits, basically right here, it's Clemson 2020 Clemson University Field Day. The approval code is 999-23282-30840. The location is Clemson, South Carolina. The date, April 14th, 2020. And education points are 0.2. And you have 30 days to submit this. So I'll also put this in the description below on the YouTube video. So you can go back and find the information. But again, Georgia guys, email me your information. I'll send you the form. South Carolina, North Carolina guys, you're going to send me your name, license number, and phone number so we can get you your hours approved. If you have any questions, let me know. That's the email address to send it to.